Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. The Saint of War, Tensura x DxD, by Kischur teenfic.net. Home categories: bookmark home. The Saint of War, Tensura x DxD, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 previous. Next, it has been a month since Seal has been in the library learning and reading books after books, causing him to acquire quite a large wealth of knowledge regarding holy energy and mana in general because of the amount of knowledge that he has been acquiring for himself to acquire a grace. For one, holy energy is made out of a particle named spiritrons, with them being the fundamental source of power to holy energy, and also makes holy energy to be more powerful than normal mana and normal magic as well. The reason for this is because mana itself is made out of something called magicule, which is a particle that is made out of spiritrons itself. Because of that, holy energy is stronger than mana, because holy energy is essentially the ability to manipulate and use spiritrons, while mana needs magicule, which is made out of spiritrons. Of course, there are also new things he learned as well. Holy energy is generally stronger because of the quality being immensely more powerful. Of course, there are still weaknesses or limitations to it though. And one of them is that holy energy is slower in regenerating energy, because of the nature of spiritrons being far more smaller than magicules, making it quite a challenge to actually regenerate energy, and add in that holy energy can only be used to empower oneself or to use holy magic and nuclear magic, making them be incapable in actually using normal forms of magic, and add in the fact that using those two types of magic are extremely difficult to actually pull off as well, makes it so that no normal person would actually make their whole mana to become holy energy. Then there's also the fact that most spells that they would be capable on doing are largely very slow as well in actually doing so, making them be incapable in using in battle. The reason for this is because of how dense and packed spiritrons are compared to magic, causing only angels or holy energy users to use it in the most basic way, and that is to form holy weaponry instead of using spells. And the only way for one to actually use the higher ranking spells in battle is if they actually set it up in advanced, or are skilled enough to use holy magic to actually use it, making it so that the only ones that could regularly use miracle level holy magic are the archangels themselves. And of course, because of him existing in this library, he has also learned of holy magic and nuclear magic. Holy magic has 2 levels, or 3 levels technically as well. The first level are the basic levels. The basic level largely consists of spells that are of defensive and supportive in nature, with their existing barrier-type spells, buff-type spells, trap-type spells, and there only exists one attack-type spell in the basic level, and that is Holy Cannon, and even then what it does is to sap away one's energy, rather than bring harm to the target. The miracle level are the more powerful version of the spells in the basic level, and the place in which exist the attacked spells of the holy magic, and in this place, much like the name suggests, spells in this area are like that of a miracle, like resurrection, and the fabled disintegration. The nuclear magic, the other part of the holy energy, is by far the most destructive magic in the entire world set of magic, with no one being able to create something that is stronger than that of nuclear magic, with the only thing that they could do is to create offshoots or spells for said set of magic. Officially, nuclear magic has 6 spells in it. Of course, there are also chances of someone hiding a secret spell of the nuclear magic that they themselves created and didn't reveal and kept it as a secret weapon of sorts. Because of this, and the power of the miracle level of holy magic, and the power of nuclear magic, it very granted heaven a feared reputation, since despite their kindness, they are also very much willing to destroy their enemies no matter the cost if they are forced to do so, with the most famous one being of Gabriel, who killed every living creature on earth in the orders of God. Seal, finding out this history in the books, wasn't really alarmed by such an event, since Gabriel herself has said all of the things that she has done throughout her whole life, and of course that also included all the things that could be considered evil as well. The reason for this action was to make sure that Seal wouldn't idolize her to the point of making and thinking of her as something as perfect. Seal, who has been studying both holy and nuclear magic, has nothing left to learn in a week after entering the library. With him from then on has been improving his magic levels by sheer leaps and bounds by himself by that point, and how he was able to do was something he learned in this library as well, and that was the method that Gabriel created to make more angels to acquire graces, and that was called 1 and 1 with the universe. Seal, reading the name, could only let out a weary smile at that. Mother should really make sure that long names doesn't mean it would be perceived as something grand. The method itself was like what the name makes it sound like. By entering one's mindscape and clearing any and all noises of the outside world and anything related to the 7 sins, one would be able to make a world of nothingness, and in there, one would need to recreate a universe of their making, made entirely out of holy energy. It was method that was seen as the fastest way to progress in holy magic, and method that was created by the genius of holy magic Gabriel Tempest. Of course, this method also required one to possess an immensely large holy energy, and thanks to his metamorphosis as a fully fledged spiritual life form, most of his holy energy has been sucked dry, and after a full month of training in holy and nuclear magic in the library, he was able to raise it back up to mid-ultimate class, but that in itself isn't enough though. The requirements for one to do said method successfully are an immense understanding of energy and the ability to control it, and an Archangel class energy source as well, and unfortunately for Seal, he didn't have the energy requirement for said method, and of course because of his progressed, he could also just train to be able to acquire the energy requirements, but he decided not to and decided to try another method he came up with. When he fully understood the core of the one and one with the universe method, he was able to create his own as a result, a method that would build upon said method and make it more efficient and powerful. With that he then started, the method he made he called it Magic Ring. By moving his entire energy, even his physical energy, aura, haki, together with his holy energy in a complete circle, while also not making a single bit of energy to spill from the fast movements of energy. This method of manipulating one's energy and to make a ring out of it and spin it continuously, would not only increase one's control over said energies, but also increased it as well because of the continuous use of energy and storing it as well in the magic ring. With this method, Seal was able to acquire more and more energy than he could possibly produce and hold by himself, and of course, by his calculations, it would only need about a few hours or so to reach the power of an archangel, but he wanted to do more. With that, Seal then controlled the magic ring and then continued to shrink it further and further until boom, a sudden explosive sound was heard in the library, with Seal himself being covered in a golden aura of power and holiness, with it being in the shape of a lion's mane. To this, Seal was surprised by the result as well, causing him to look into it further. My holy energy is even more denser than before as well, but more than that, it became faster in response and movements as well. It became almost as close as that of my normal mana movements, but more importantly my holy energy. Seal thought of what his holy energy has increased into, of course with the magic ring that was expected, but the amount increased was more than he expected. I might actually reach low archangel energy levels if I do it again. With that thought, Seal then continued do it once more, with more energy to used. He then created more and more magic rings, which all did it works, but the more and more magic rings he created, the harder and harder it was so to control said energy, causing some of the magic rings to collapse in on itself, which caused said magic ring to be deformed and be destroyed. But luckily enough, there was no energy lose in the process though, and he continued on in creating them. With the final ring he could create at his current level was 5 rings, and in this 5 rings, his energy levels was increased by insane amounts, and with his control increasing as well, it truly became a terrifying technique to know and master. And in just a minute after creating 5 magic rings, his power has already reached mid-archangel class of energy. To this, he then once again slowly shrink all of them to become an orb of energy like the first one, and much like the first one, all 5 of them cause an explosive around him. But unlike the first one though, their formation changed his aura a little bit. The colors of his aura became more prominent, making them more recognizable from a distance, with the shape of it being more defined, with there existing a golden aura in the shape of a lion's mane. And right now, his holy energy levels has already reached upper-low archangel class in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality however, his match or even exceed that of an high archangel class. Seal, sensing that this method has currently reached a plateau, decided to stop for a moment and then analyzes what he has created, and what he has found surprised him for quite a bit. Ho! It seems that this course? No, let's name it more flashy. This stars that I have created for myself, is much like that of circle. They are still spin in such a low spaces that it still surprised me that it is still working, but it seems that they are improving my control over energy and has sped up my holy energy usage to untold levels as well. The stars that he created was still spinning and spinning, creating more and more energy for CL's used, and with them existing in various parts of his body. Seal decided to relocate them all to his heart. Since the heart is the core of the human body, it can be said that the heart is the place in which energy is created and distributed throughout the entire body. Because of that, it is also the densest part of the body that holds energy as a result of that. And moving the stars into the heart itself would also increase one's energy movements once again. I should do the one-in-one with the universe now, sensing that he has already have a big enough energy pool. Seal then decided to do the method that was created by his mother. With that he retreated in his mindscape and then saw a world of nothingness inside of it. One's mindscape is something akin to, or the closest thing to the soul itself. Because of this, to those that could see someone else's mindscape, and is also a skilled analogist, they could very well understand a person is, even better than the person itself. Because of this, one's manipulation of one's mindscape is both a hard and easy thing to do. The only thing needed for the manipulation of one's mindscape is for the person itself to be of clear mind and not be distracted by one's wants and desires. They essentially need to conquer one's desires. But such a method to do was an impossibility. Even for the kind and benevolent angels wasn't able to disregard one's wants and desires as well. And in truth the only ones that could truly do so was Gabriel herself, who has already discarded hers. It is the reason why her method of one-in-one with the universe is not widely known and used. It may be true that said method was the base and fastest way to acquire a grace, but the ability to discard one's wants and desires is something that only Gabriel achieved, and because of that it was regarded as a foolhardy approach in acquiring a grace. But despite being seen as such, heaven itself still recognized it as the best method in acquiring a grace. But Seal didn't know of this fact, but he was able to instantly do it, even faster and better than the Creator herself. But before he could start it in creating his inner universe, he stopped to reconsider something else and then looked at his own heart. Could it be possible to use my stars in this? Seal thought back to he conditions for his stars, and how one-in-one with the universe worked. In truth the two are very well connected or worked well with one another, with the two working off each other's strengths and weaknesses. One-in-one with the universe works by using one's holy energy and then slowly but surely creating a universe, with the first thing that one would create being the Big Bang. And after everything is created then there is no more getting beyond that, and in fact this act alone, once completed would strengthen one's holy magic and energy to untold levels to the point of being able to acquire a grace once completed. As for method that Seal created for himself, which he decided to name Golden Ring Star, is a method in which would simultaneously increase one's energy manipulation and energy quantity and quality, making it one of, if not the best method in actually getting stronger in magic, and is by far in the way the greatest method for magicians to use to get stronger and better. But a thought came to him. What would happen if I were to use the stars as the Big Bang and create a universe that way? Seal thought of it. Because of the method that Gabriel used was used to increase her holy magic skill level to reach the peak acquire a grace, while his method was used to raise his energy levels and energy control simultaneously, causing his to be superior. Since Gabriel's method only increased one's magic level, or in this case holy magic skill to the pinnacle, to the point that she reached the levels of both Michael and Lucifer, and by the time of the war started she has already reached a level that far surpassed both of them, with her by the end of it being only second to the God of the Bible. The only thing that limited her by that point, and of course even today, was her holy energy and the speed of her execution, since it is a well-known fact that in terms of execution, other than magics that required one to set up preparation, holy magic and holy energy is by far the slowest one by far. But for Ciel's own method increased not only one's energy, but also energy control as well, with the added bonus of increased speed of which one's energy moves and also increased one's own quality of energy as well. The only thing that he needs to do from there is to learn holy magic and he would good, and in truth because of this fact alone, one could easily say his method was the better one of the two, in terms of utility in battle and combat. But because of the need to acquire a grace, Ciel knows that Gabriel's method was superior in that respect, and besides that, Ciel knows that he could very easily upgrade the problems of the two methods, by merging the two of them together, he knows he could do something wonderful with it. And without thinking anything else, he then went through with it, without any form of caution. He was surprisingly a daredevil in this regard of skills and knowledge. With that, in his mindscape, he then projected his 6 stars that he has created and then placed all of them in said mindscape. And then started to accelerate all of their spin, causing them to discharge electricity, which increased with the increased of spin, which also coincide with the increased of energy produced in each of the stars as well, causing them enlargen themselves because of increased of energy inside each and every last one of them, and with their increased of power, it caused Seal to smile happy of the level of energy he has accumulated in them. With that, he then remembered the line in the Bible, something that always stick in his mind, rent-free. Let there be light. With that, the stars then started to crack. Crack. The more cracks that appeared, light and more light flashes out of said cracks. Crack. Most of the star was filled with cracks, and then the stars enlargen once more with the sudden increase of energy, which caused the cracks to become smaller compared to their original size. Crack. But it didn't really deter from the mana inside to let light exist in this dark and void space that currently exists in this world. Crack. And with that, crack, asterisk, boom, asterisk. The stars cracked one last time and then exploded, and explosively released all of the energy inside of stars, and with that the golden light of the holy energy that is comprised of the 6 stars of energy that Seal created for himself, and with that he then started to saw the formation of the universe and the creation of all creation. He saw the creation of the universe, since he was curious of the stars. Gabriel and Raphael, or anyone for that matter who has time, has dedicated their in time educating Seal in the stars and the creation of the universe and life itself. Because of this, he knew how the universe was created. But his version was different, for unlike the real universe, where there was only a single singularity, his has 6 singularities in total, with his forming the universe itself in an even grander state than before as well. With that, Seal then saw his universe's formation, and much like he thought would happened, or at least at best as he knew would happen, since because the only particle in this void mindscape of his is spiritrans, and since spiritrans is something that normal people hasn't seen or recorded yet, the effects and creation was different from reality. The spiritrans spread all over the newly created universe evenly, which is quite unlike the real version which wasn't evenly distributed, but he didn't really mind it since the only thing he needed to do was to make his own inner universe, so he felt like he didn't need to copy the real thing. With that, before things could get messy and to test his theory, he then set a perimeter around and set it as the maximum size of said universe, and just like with the rings, he then started to spin it. And much like he hoped, he was generating energy as well, and even his energy manipulation ability has became even better as well, and as for holy magic however. He then raised his right hand and then did a quick prayer before green light appeared in his palm. Good. The execution and speed of the spell has became faster as well, and there's also the fact that my control in direct spiritrans and holy magic has became better as well. Why is that? Seal, who felt the phenomenon, was truly confused of the happenings. Since in truth, he was truthfully don't how and why it actually worked, since none of the books discussed this phenomenon, and even trying to see the changes in his body or state of mind didn't change anything, but the more times he pondered, the more energy and skilled he continuously become. His inner universe, which has reached the maximum width because of the set perimeter that Seal set, has now began to create galaxies, solar systems, stars, planets and nebulae as well, and their number has stopped increased because of Ciel's own energy manipulation mastery limits, but adding up the galaxies, solar systems and nebulae that he has made, there should be about a few good hundreds of them, with of course all of them spinning and spinning, causing him to gather more and more energy. And with that, his holy magic mastery has also getting better and better as a result as well. Wait, could it be that this method works so well because it's an unregistered holy magic spell? Seal thought, and then he looked at the slowly forming universe in front of him, and then looked at it further and could only conclude that it truly is a holy spell magic, for Mother to create something like this. It truly is surprising, the most powerful spell of holy magic, one in one with the universe. With that unknown to him, because of his acknowledgement, Heaven Library then started to register the method as a part of the holy magic series of spells, and subsequently made it much harder to acquire a grace in the future as well. With the creation of the universe slowly completing, with about a few thousand galaxies and solar systems has been successfully created and subsequently also started to spin as well to gather even more power for Seal himself, and the more created and added in the cycle, the more and more skilled he became as well. With that, since the work would become a repetition, Seal decided to create an inner system for himself to continuously creating galaxies, solar systems and nebulae. With that he then exited his mindscape. Existing his mindscape, he then started to look around and then saw the clock, and despite staying in his mindscape that appeared like an hour has passed, but it seems that time moved slower in one's mindscape, since it has just been a few minutes since he entered his mindscape, but there was also another aspect he also noticed as well. My energy. It isn't increased despite my inner universe existing. But why? Seal thought, surprised by what he felt. But, in my mindscape, my energy was increasing, but after exiting my mindscape it stopped. But why? Seal investigated further, and seeing that he wouldn't be able to acquire the answers that he seek, he then went back to his mindscape, and much like he thought, his energy was increasing when he was in his mindscape, but more than that, it seems that this mindscape also stores his energy somehow, since it suddenly gave Seal the energy that he didn't acquired in his time away from the mindscape. Sigh, I need to fix this, but why is this happening? My energy control and holy magic mastery is increasing, but why is my energy not even bulging when I'm outside of the mindscape? Seal thought, quite interested in this phenomenon, but he didn't pursue it further though, since he decided to create a solution for himself. With that, he then created black holes in his inner universe to suck up the energy produced and straight away pumped it to his heart, and with that he then created 10 stars from said energy, with them also spinning and gathering energy for himself. With that he was able to successfully solve his problem quite easily. A few minutes later, while outside of his mindscape and just in a meditative state, with a golden lion mane aura around him, the library then turned into gold, causing Seal to look at it expectantly and then looked up in the ceiling. Of this divine library, there appeared a new structure, and it was a tree root. But despite its ordinary look, it was releasing quite a lot of holy energy and aura, an aura that is completely unmatched to the ones that he has seen and felt from heaven. Not even Gabriel or Michael matched it, and most certainly himself as well. But then, it released some of its aura, causing Ciel's aura to react in such a way that it shouldn't be possible to do so, with his aura also being unleashed as well, and then all of his holy energy then straight away went to the tree root, and despite the loss of holy energy, with his escaping and leaving his, he didn't felt like anything was wrong with the process and just thought it was the natural process of things. When all of his holy energy has left him and joined with the tree root, it then produced a single drop of water, but even for a physical sense, it wasn't normal at all, with its color being far too different from the norm, with it radiating holy energy and has the appearance if a rainbow were to become a liquid itself. And with that, it then dropped onto him, causing him to acquire back some of his holy energy, but he also felt like the purity and quality of his holy energy has jumped up by leaps and bounds. But the thing that he felt that changed the most was his soul. Slowly, but surely, something was being etched in his soul and a letter of M was engraved in it. Opening square bracket CQUISITINOFGRAC. Accepted. Extreme MO diaresis DIFI circumflex CA diaresis TNO grave FGACE closing square bracket. Seal reacted to the static voice that just rang out, and despite hearing words, he couldn't understand them, or could even possibly even remember them as well, he just knew or thought like he heard something. Opening square bracket GRAC-MNDHA diaresis SBENSUCCESSFULLYCQR closing square bracket. What's that voice? Where is it coming from? Seal thought while looking at the library for any sign of actions whenever the static words rang out. Opening square bracket HOERGYSHA diaresis LBUSESA acute CRFICDTOENA diaresis EDTHERACTOONEI grave MIT closing square bracket. But upon hearing the words once more, and seeing that nothing changed at all, he quickly concluded that this wasn't a feature of the library, but of something of foreign, but strangely enough despite that, he didn't felt wary of the voice, he just thought of it like something natural, like that of the tree root acquiring his holy energy, he felt like this was a natural process of some kind. Opening square bracket OLYENEGYQA acute LTYA grave NDPU diaresis RIYSA acute LLBEE grave NHANCASWE acute TOTHTOTICA diaresis LLIMI diaresis T closing square bracket. With that he just left it be and then continued to sit in a meditative state, to see what would be happening next, and just like that, he then felt immense pain. Seal screamed with so much pain that he didn't know if it was possible for his current pain to be surpassed in the future. The pain that he was experiencing was something that wasn't supposed to happen in grace-giving, but the reason for his pain wasn't because of the grace, but because of the voice interference on enhancing his grace and holy energy. Because of his physique being made out of holy energy, and with the voiced interference in making his holy energy to enhance his purity and quality to the theoretical limits, and add in that a grace is a part of one's soul and is too being enhanced to the limits as well, cause Seal to be in immense pain for his material body, spiritual body, astral body and soul, was all simultaneously in pain in all fronts. And because of the pain that he was currently feeling all over his body, despite only passing for a few seconds, he felt like it has been a few minutes since the pain has entered throughout his body, and the more time passes, the more and more pain came rushing to his material, spiritual, astral and soul. It was truly a tortuous existence for him in this moments of him, so much so that he passed out, not being mentally strong enough to actually experience more of said pain, but thanks to that though, he didn't experience the pain that was going to appear throughout his body. His body started to release steam, with his body reaching temperatures that is far too unhealthy for a child of his child. Even with him being an enlightened and a spiritual life form, he was burning up to the point that it is dangerous, with him melting the floor that he is currently resting in. And because of his current unconscious state, he couldn't see a figure that is very much identical to his own just appear out of nowhere, with this identical copy being much more feminine and having beautiful and mesmerizing ruby red eyes, with a small and happy smile on her face. With that, the entity then knelt down to Ciel's sleeping figure and then raised her hands to be above the sleeping boy, and with that multiple strings then came out of her fingertips and then attached themselves to the boy and went on with her work. Opening square bracket YOABILITYTOCU diaresis STMIZEDANDPTIMIZEDOURBODY/PHYIQUE acute comma ISNO acute TPERFCTYETMAT. .bu circumflex YURSTILLINEXPRENCEANAPLATINDPTIMATONOFKILLS comma PHYSIQEA diaresis NDRGY. .SOISHALLEVE acute BHNDHEGRACE equals MNDOHELPEDYOMSTRCU circumflex SOMA tilde TINANDPTIMIZTION closing square bracket. The girl spoke in a static noise, causing those that would have heard her to only hear static noise than any words, but despite that though, Ciel's body unconsciously smiled at her words, which also caused the girl to smile as well. With that, the girl stayed beside Ciel for a few more hours, and then cut their connection with one another. After cutting the strings, Ciel's body immediately reacted and then unleashed an aura of mesmerizing and majestic of golden and rainbow in color. It simply looked divine in nature. Done with its job, the girl then leaned towards Ciel's forehead and then kissed his forehead, which glowed a little in where she kissed. Opening square bracket ISHLPASSEDDOWNTOTHEGRA equals MND comma MYXPRIECSINMDICATIONSANDPTIMIZATIN tilde comma SOSEDTE grave LLMATER closing square bracket. With that, the girl then stood up and disappeared. Ciel, who felt immense pain hours ago, then opened his eyes, which has changed once again, with his eyes now holding a beautiful tint of rainbow in it, and add in his already beautiful and mesmerizing golden eyes, and now rainbow tint as well. It just gave Ciel a look that was worthy to be recorded as divine and would make any gods of beauty and love to kill to have. But his body wasn't the only thing that changed. His overall body has become stronger, faster and more durable as well, with his body also becoming more beautiful and handsome than before as well. It truly was a weird duality. Thanks to the girl's manipulation and optimization, his looks has now transcended the normal standards of beauty and handsomeness. Since if the maxed one could give to one's physical appearance as a 10 out of 10, with this rating being more common to that of a gods of beauty and loved, then Ciel right now would have a rating of 100/10, with his beauty itself destroying the normal standards of everyone in the supernatural world. When Ciel sat up, he could only look around, arg. But before he could make sense of anything, he was hit by a headache, but thankfully, it wasn't as painful and long-lasting as the previous one though. But this one was more different though, since this pain gave him information of his grace, which is named M equals the mind, with it having 8 abilities in total. Hollow Diamond. Mind. Hollow Diamond. Mind is a grace of God that Seal acquired for himself, with it granting him multiple set of abilities, with them being seize, copy, thought acceleration, all of creation, synthesis, separation, alteration, analytical appraisal, parallel operation. Seize. This ability allows the user to rob power from their opponents, effectively weakening their skills and magic. Although this ability only works on those stronger than the user. Copy. This ability allows the user of the skill to copy and obtain the skills of those they are fighting. Thought acceleration. Accelerates the thought processing speed of the user by factor of 1,000. All of creation. The ability to comprehend any non-concealed phenomena in this world. Synthesis, separation. The ability to synthesis any form of skills and merge them into a single skill, while the separation ability allows the user to release any sort of skills in hand or in other people as well. Alteration. The ability to modify and evolve skills, while also increasing their proficiency and ability. Analytical appraisal. Analyzes and assesses the target. Parallel operation. The ability to detach analysis of phenomena from the mind. Acquiring this information and the basics of his ability, it only made Seal smile in happiness at acquiring said grace. But while exploring through the ability though, it did cause Seal confusion when he felt like there was something else with his grace as well. As this ability far too powerful, he felt like his ability was far too powerful to be given to anyone, but considering how powerful it truly was, he felt like it is a grace that could only be given to the God of the Bible himself. But he quickly dismissed those wonders though, since he has nothing to complain about, since it is his after all. Let's experiment first, and assessed everything that happened thus far. An hour later Seal, after 3 hours, experimented with his grace further, and he came to a single conclusion thanks to the various experiments that he has done. This is far too overpowered. That was the single conclusion that he gave to the ability. The reason for this is largely thanks to the large versatility of the grace, and one of those versatility is copy. Copy. The ability to copy and use an opponent's skills, that in itself is already far too powerful, since the ability to learn and obtain the skills of his opponent is a major boost in terms of learning ability, especially if he were to add in his own talents as well. He was sure that he would be able to learn every skills there is, if he were to put his mind to it. But an even broken ability that he learnt, was not an ability of the grace, but the possible combination that he created by combining the sub-skills, copy, all of creation, synthesis, separation, alteration, parallel operation and thought acceleration. The combination of this sub-skill created an even greater ability that he named all learning. This combination of skills allows him to be able to copy anything in creation, be it if he sees it before him, or read it in a book. This first one of the combination is all of creation. By using this ability, he would be able to understand anything he sees. Of course he needs the basic information of that thing first though. The second of the combination is alteration. By using this ability, he would be able to alter any form of skills, and be able to manipulate them to be as best as possible, and more importantly to be as compatible to him as possible. The third of the combination is separation. By using this part of the ability, he would be able to separate any form of side effects or things that wouldn't really help him. From his point onward, the combinations changes depending on what he is planning on copying itself. If he is planning on copying other people's fighting styles, special moves, attacks and such. The fourth of the combination would be copy. By using this part of the ability, he would be able to copy their skills and such. But, if he is going to copy and learn things from a book though, he would use other combination, and that is. The fourth of the combination would be synthesis. By using this skill, he would be able to combine skills together. After that, both combination would have both parallel operation and thought acceleration. Fifth of the combination is parallel operation. By using this skill, he would be able to automatically use this combination of skills together, and auto-change the need skills as well. Then finally, the skill that supports everything would be thought acceleration. Since his skills always happens in his mind, by using this skill he would accelerate the skill's activation and completion as well. All of this combinations of skills makes the skill all learning. But the thing that he discussed that totally breaks the balance of power between graces, is his perspective on what is a skill. To everyone in the supernatural world, a skill is like magic or swordplay. But to Seal himself, skill is knowledge itself. Because of that, anything that is a source of knowledge, he could use it on to acquire said information for himself to the point that it'd make it look like he has studied and worked upon it in his entire life. And this is even more powerful with martial arts books, since with his skill of all learning, he could copy the knowledge and integrate it all to his body, causing his body to change to be the ideal of said martial arts and make it look like he has been training in said martial arts. Of course, the only drawback in this that, he would acquire great pain if it's far too much for him, but he would doubt if he would acquire anything that could match his accusation of ingrace though, and that he wouldn't know how to use them in a real battle scenario. As for the first drawback, he only view it as a price that he needs to pay at such a quick shortcut, and the second drawback, he didn't really mind it, with him just needing to practice it with someone else to learn the ins and outs of said martial arts. Even if I could do every move and formation perfectly, that doesn't mean that I could use it perfectly in a combat setting. Seal thought nothing of it, and just continued on. But that wasn't the most broken thing he figured out with this ability as well. Integrating skill, knowledge, of basic stances of the basic Holy Knight style, basic stances of basic Holy Martial style, basic Holy Gunslinger style and basic stances of basic Holy Movement style, shall be fused. All negatives of the style shall be separated from the rest and shall be alterated to reach its maximum form and potential. Style completed. Number 1 style has been completed. Preparing integration to the body. Start. To this, Seal flinched a little when he felt the pain that permeated into his body, but other than the flinch, he didn't react much, with him just feeling the changes in his body that was slight, but still noticeable changed, and after 5 seconds. Integration complete. With that, knowledge that wasn't his to begin with, then flooded his brain with moves that he was familiar with, but unlike before which they weren't connected, all 4 of them naturally connected and flow to one another, like a beautiful woven strings that was tied together. It was a beautiful creation, that adding something to it, would just destroy the beautiful balance and harmony that it created. With that, Seal then moved the books to the side, and then moved towards the center of the room and relaxed. Boom. Asterisk. In the next instant, faster than an eye could track, his once standing relaxed form, has changed and became that of a horse stance in karate, with his right fist in an outreach formed. Crackle. Asterisk. A sonic boom happened in this library, to which caused the various books to fly off because of the effects of the boom. To this Seal then stood up, with a smile on his face. Let's start.